that I meant to acknowledge that I didn't. One was that there is a prayer box outside, right in the, call it a vestibule. And we can take advantage of that, and the practitioners are checking that box and praying on it and following up, or will be. So that's come from the practitioners. And then also I need to just acknowledge the Juneteenth celebration last week, and want to thank Pat Green, want to thank Kim, want to thank Hospitality Committee for not just fantastic food that, when, you did the Juneteenth proud with the menu. So we appreciate that. And not just the food, but even beyond, the other touches. There were games, there were keepsakes, and it was a beautiful day. So truly, sincerely appreciate it. Really, really, it's important to celebrate that. Donald Trump said no one celebrated Juneteenth until he made it a thing. He said that when he was president. Yeah, he did when he was president. So, thank you, and I guess thank him. I guess. Anyway, Michelle read the passages, and this first passage almost didn't do it. But I said, why not? We're talking discipline. One reading from the Old Testament, one reading from the New Testament of the Bible. The Old Testament Proverbs, wisdom literature, says, if your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If your enemy is thirsty, give him water to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you. And then the New Testament, Matthew chapter 5, not so far from where we were last week also, in the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus says, you have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. Now, just going to be honest. Come on. Come on. Talking about some. I understand a lot of spiritual principles. I can really wrap my head around most of them that you throw at me. I'll turn the other damn cheek. Am I the only one that one's, okay. Love your neighbor, I got it. Okay, I got that. It's all good, it's all God. Okay, I got that. Okay, yeah. Even forgive, after I got enough time, I can forgive you, But you're talking about turn the other cheek. I tend to look at life kind of like, what? I said nothing yet. What? Okay. This might be one I might need to pray first. Hold on. Yeah, there's a lot of ways to, yeah. Well, no, Jesus said if you follow Jesus, he said, if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them The other cheek. Give them the other cheek. Okay, all right. No, I mean, I think about it. See, and even no matter how spiritual you are, I still got that side of me. It reminds me of, it was a movie way back, not that long ago, but a while back, The Untouchables. Al Capone, Robert De Niro played Al Capone. And there was a line in that movie where I think Robert De Niro playing Al Capone summed it up. He said, look, I'm a businessman, I'm a family man. He said, but if somebody messes with me, I'm gonna mess with them. You know, that seems logical, right? It seems right. And not only that, it's actually in the Bible. There are at least 3 places in the Old Testament, in Exodus, in Leviticus, in Deuteronomy, where it says, if somebody messes with you, you got to mess with them. And it was in the name of justice, where they were at that time. If you stole someone's goat, or if you accidentally killed their goat, guess what? You owe them a goat. And that was in the law. Goat for goat. Right? If you're working in the field together and you swing the hammer, you accidentally knock somebody's tooth out, according to the rules, guess what they get to do to you if they want to? They get to knock your tooth out. I mean, it's only right? Makes sense. Al Capone said, hey, I'm fine. I love everybody. But if somebody messes with me, I'm going to mess with them. And it's only right? I mean, it's logical anyway. You know? So this was eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, in an attempt to establish some kind of justice, some kind of understanding, some kind of prevention of wrongdoing, some kind of consequence in their society. But I think what is left out of that, there's a couple things, but one thing that's left out of it is, remember last week we were talking about circuits and how you got a battery, you got a light bulb. I'm not going to preach the whole thing again. But you got a battery, you got a light bulb, and you got a wire connecting the two. One thing I left out of that was that it's not just a wire connecting the two, it's 2 wires connecting the two. One wire comes from the positive end of the battery, one wire comes from the negative end of the battery. Both connect to the light bulb. The positive end of the battery kicks out the electrons, the energy. They light the light, but it will only light the light if the circuit is complete to the negative side that receives electrons. So it's not just a one-way shot between us and God, it's a circuitry. It has to go around. And we know about karma, we know about what goes around comes around. So what about this? Well, if somebody messes with me, I'm gonna mess with them. But then they probably feel the same way. So now if you mess with them, they're gonna mess with you. And then if you mess with them, they gotta mess with you, right? And then, so you mess with them, they messing with you. At the end, all you got is a mess. I'm still like, man, this Bible talking about turn the other damn cheek. And I think I feel that way because it sounds feeble, doesn't it? It sounds weak. You mean to tell me if somebody slaps you, I'm supposed to raise my son. If somebody slaps you, I'm supposed to raise my daughter. If somebody slaps you, okay, don't worry, daughter, you're beautiful. You're going to meet a lot of different types of men in your life. And Jesus says, if he slaps you on that beautiful right cheek of yours, Jesus says, give him the left cheek to slap as well. Am I supposed to raise my daughter that way? Or my son? Or myself? So there's something missing here. There's something, somewhere from that Greek translation, something is missing. And I know one thing that's happening when I think of Jesus. So if I just say, what does Jesus look like? Real quick. And I know you want to say, yeah, Jesus is a black man, blah, blah, blah. But you know what I'm talking about. When I say, look at Jesus, do you see the same blue-eyed wimp that I'm seeing in my mind's eye that was painted to us? Kind of strawberry blonde hair. You got some just soft eyes. Little Lamb of God. I think that's the Jesus we're thinking of. And then anytime they talk, when they're reading the scriptures, it's always this voice like, if anyone strikes you on your cheek, Simon, turn the other cheek and give them the other cheek also. And it just doesn't really sound realistic. That Jesus, I could see him saying, yeah, if somebody slaps you, yeah, let them slap you again. But everything I know about Christ, I don't know if that's it. Then I go back to the circuits again, because he said this, do not resist an evil person. And then I said, okay, that's interesting. Now, if they're evil and I'm good or trying to be good, if they're hate and I'm love, what is he talking about? Don't resist them. What does it mean? You're supposed to resist them, right? But no, it says here, do not resist an evil person. So then I thought again about the circuits real quick. You got a battery, you got a light bulb, you got energy flowing. And last week we talked about resistance, right? So how much, you got a battery that's full of power, say that's God. You got a light bulb that's full of potential, say that's us. You got wires connecting it, that's the connection. How much resistance is in the wire will dictate how bright the light will shine, right? So when it says do not resist an evil person, what it's saying perhaps is, okay, let them do them. Guess what happens when you are resisting? There's something in metaphysics where, have you heard this, where they say, whatever you resist persists. So if I, for example, eye for an eye, somebody messes with me, I'm going to mess with them, right? Somebody approaches me, has something negative, mean, nasty, evil to say to me, what am I supposed to do? I'm not supposed to resist that. I'm not supposed to allow it, am I? If I allow it, that's the thing about letting somebody slap you. See, if they slap you once and you don't do nothing, now they know you're the type of guy they can slap. If they reach in your pocket, steal your money, and you don't say nothing, they know you're the type that they can steal from. right? So what do I think it's saying? Do not resist an evil person. Do not allow the evil to take place. Romans 12 says it this way: do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Brother Eric just sang the song, What's Going On, right? War is not the answer, right? Yeah. But folks, it's a war type of world that we live in. Whether it's, well, they've done in Afghanistan, right? Israel, Ukraine, all kind of places, war going on. Crenshaw, Yeah, right, Lakers, CNN debate. I said I was going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that alone. But it's war everywhere. That's the way things are done. But as a spiritually aware person, okay, it's a war type of world, so when someone messes with me, but I can't mess with them, but I got to do something. Have you ever thought, I don't even know the numbers, how much money is spent on war? We're creeping up toward $1 trillion a year. I think if you took all the police agencies and all the National Guard, all the state militias, put it all together, you'd be at about $1 trillion a year, which is a lot. And that's just the United States. How much is going toward waging? So that's to wage war. What about waging peace? So that's different. See, to wage peace is different from just letting somebody do something bad to me. Have you ever been in a situation where they try it? Because I'm concerned about Afghanistan, I'm concerned about Ukraine, I'm concerned about Israel and all that. But what I'm really concerned about is the little wars that we're facing every single day between one another. You know what I'm saying? When you show up and somebody just gotta make a little comment. And then now you can't let that little comment slide. So maybe you say something back, like Al Capone said, somebody mess with me, I gotta mess with them. But every now and then, I'm in such a good mood, I'm in such a high vibration, that even when they come with the evil, it doesn't affect me if I'm in too good of a mood. You ever have somebody try to take a shot at you and you say, you know what? Ordinarily, I'd get mad, but God has just been too good. I'm not even worried about it. And you can keep on going. To be able to do it when I feel good enough